It's not going to work. Semen retention is not going to work for you. Semen retention is not going to work for you. Semen retention is not going to work for you. Semen retention does not exist. Semen retention is an online myth. Semen retention is a psyop. Do you know what semen retention is? Semen retention is trying to hold your nut for the hope of getting some desired benefits, whether it's comeliness, focus, energy, transmutating that energy into some type of other goal. Listen, what you guys are calling semen retention is really just holding your nut. And the reason I know that what you guys are doing is literally just holding your nut is because when you go into the comments on a semen retention video, do you know what you're going to see? 24 hours going strong. 1 week in, wish me luck. 2 months in, never felt better. You're going to see a bunch of guys who sound like waiting to relapse addicts. Have you ever been to an AA meeting? It is one of the saddest things you will ever see. And that's what you see in the comment section on the average semen retention video. You see a bunch of guys who they feel like they're doing good, but in their heart of hearts, they know they are one lustful moment away. This is why instead of aiming for semen retention, you have to aim to live pure. You have to aim to be your highest self. You have to aim to have a heart for God. You have to aim to be aligned with God. And let me tell you what happens when you bring God into the mix of this. It becomes easier than breathing to hold your nut because now your wagon is hitched to something much higher than busting a nut. When you read Psalms, which is like David's journal and meditation, you see a guy, he's not in this shit for vanity, excuse my language, but he knows that the Most High is really looking at his heart. He knows that the Most High grades in action as well as heart. What I want y'all to start doing, start reading the book of Proverbs. Start reading Ecclesiastes. Go get you an Apocrypha. It's literally some old Bible books that they took out. Read the book of Sirach, Ecclesiasticus. Read the Wisdom of Solomon. And what's going to happen is this stuff is going to fuel, soften, and warm your spirit. In case you haven't noticed, this is a spiritual game. This is a spiritual game. I'll say it again. This is a spiritual game. Because, see, what you guys have done is you've minimized living righteously and living purely into simply holding your nut. What does it matter if you hold your nut if you still look at every girl that walks by? What does it matter if you hold your nut if you're still mindlessly scrolling? What does it matter if you hold your nut if you're still seeing millions of images of lust bait every day? When the scripture says, "Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind." How do you renew your mind? By pursuing the things of God, by pursuing a pure heart with God. And see, that's the beauty of God. God is the most perfect, accurate judge. He knows if you looked at that girl too long. He knows if you looked at her butt too long. As we move through life, some things we can't help but see. And, you know, the book of Sirach, it talks about how seeing a pretty woman can can cheer up a man, or or how it's actually in and of itself, it's not an unrighteous thing to see unattractive woman. However, your heart determines how deep you take that initial gaze. Whether you see the pretty girl at the checkout counter and you just greet her, you're polite, you conduct your transaction, or if a movie starts playing in your head, a movie starts playing in your heart. A lot of you guys are a lot of you guys, the way you're doing semen retention, it's like you're going into the gym and you're picking up 70-pound dumbbells and you're just attempting to hold them until you can't anymore. But when you focus on your heart, when you focus on your heart and attempting to commune with God and to become one with God and to align with God, semen retention is literally a byproduct of that. This is why the most successful semen retainers or abstinent guys, they're deeply spiritual, deeply religious. And yes, you can use those interchangeably. I don't care what some weirdo on the internet said. Because a deeply spiritual guy and a deeply religious guy, they're both super disciplined. And they both are going after higher ideals than simply holding their nut. And here's how you know this young generation has been introduced to this from a flawed angle. You have guys out here who are holding their nuts, semen retaining, simply for the hope of becoming more attractive, just so that they can then blow their load on a piece of ass they couldn't attract prior to this journey. Do you see how that's counterintuitive? And I know a lot of y'all watching this, some of you guys watching this, you may say, "Man, I don't know anything about religion. I don't know anything about spirituality. I'm not really into this God stuff. I'm just trying to take my life from A to B." Hey, man, do what you want to with this information. But attempting to control your urges apart from gaining a divine connection to what I'm referring to as God the Father or the Most High, it's futile, man. It's futile. It's only gonna last for so long, man. It's only gonna last for so long. And to my black guys watching this, you were never designed to prosper outside of righteousness. In case you can't tell, you were never designed to prosper outside of righteousness. So ask yourself, who do you see in our community that not only do they have the so-called success, but they have a beautiful family to go with it? Yeah, you can't play by the rules of the others, and that's okay. But yeah, man, um, I had to say this, bro. I had to say this. Like, 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 my favorite semen retention content creator. He never. He. I see. A lot of you guys come from a dark place, and a lot of you guys have received some of the most darkest programming when it comes to sexuality, specifically my black brothers. I know that a lot of my fatherless black brothers thought that the most natural expression of their manhood was rampant promiscuity and emotionless sex. And that's arguably the biggest lie this captivity has told you black brothers, you know? Um, you can work out, you can get a job, you can use that energy for a goal, but you will inevitably is it it's not gonna last, man. You want a lifestyle of righteousness, man. Because what happens, say you have a long semen retention streak, and say you actually transmute that energy into a worthy pursuit. So after you have the Lambo, do you then just fall back into your lower self and start fucking all the hoes? Really? Really? Is that what you desire after a long length of holding that? That's your highest desire after an elongated state of abstinence, to just then waste your divine cosmic seed on randos, on randoms. So I hope that some light bulbs are coming on as I'm saying this, guys. I know I'm all over the place, but again, semen retention has been taught as this never-ending deadlift. When if you tap into the source, it can be the most natural, easy uh way of life. I still get boners like Excalibur's sword, but because my mind and my heart are aligning towards righteousness, I don't get the wicked thoughts. It's good to have ridiculously hard boners. That means you're healthy. That means your body functions. But when your heart is set on higher ideals, there's no temptation for a dating app, a IG, or to go out and do something frivolous. But yeah, y'all take care, and most I will, I'll speak more on this topic. Again, remember, semen retention is futile and will fail apart from a heart from God. Shalom.